Our square filing chain, and we're going to start out by taking out part of the gullet. This was a RS chain, and then I put it on the Sylvie and changed the square, cut with it. Now it's dull. So most guys go the opposite direction that you're going. Why do you go?
Filing into the tooth, it's easier to see what you're doing.
Oh, sure.
But it's hard on files because you're pushing the chrome into it. You file out of the tooth, you're basically flaking the chrome off.
Oh, sure.
Just like you would with a round file.
Okay.
And then when I first started, that's how I was taught, was start by filing the teeth in, because it was easier to see. But eventually, my mentor showed me, how to do it, filing out. It takes a little more practice and a little more patience, but I want to get most of that out of there just to make it easier to file square. And less metal to remove if you get your gullet back. Get this little corner that's up in here back to where your square file is. Get that rollover shit off of there.
Okay.
Light's a big thing, being able to see what you're doing.
A lot easier to do it outside, I bet, in sunlight.
Sunlight's the best. If I filed that one a little too much angle, I got a little too much angle on it. I'm quite out of practice. This side, the top here does the top plate. The side here does the side plate. And you don't want a lot of hook into it. You're looking for something that's more straight up and down.
Now, is that a double bevel file, or?
No.
You have any thoughts on that?
Not really. These files here, a mistake, as far as I understand it.
Who makes those?
These were made by Valorb, but they're only one-sided.
Okay.
They're not doubles. They're thinner, and the edge here it's like a double bevel that's split right in half this way.
Sure.
Your filing width here is the same as the other files, but the angles are slightly different on this.
Okay.
And how the file was made, they're cut crossways, not on an angle. And these files actually cut a little bit better, do a little better job.
Sure.
But they were a mistake, and a lot of guys didn't like them, and I collected them, and I love them, but you can't get them anymore. They're just not out there to buy, so.
So you're willing to sell them?
No. Also, on the back side, you can use it as a raker file.
Oh, sure.
Or you can fix your mess up when you make a mess up, because you can push down on it and actually file down. I need to be down further. This chain was ground on a machine, and the teeth are a little bit hard.
Plus it's steel chain, which is already...
Which is hard too, so I generally square file.
Oregon?
Yeah, Oregon chain more.
We'll just do a couple teeth here.
It's square, I'm just not low enough on the back. I'm not getting my file under the tooth at all. It's kind of up here.
Huh.
I don't have any hooked into it up here. You need to be filing down into your side strap. You can't. If you're not filing your side strap, your angles aren't right. I don't care what file you use. The more that you can take out the round file out of the gullet, the less you gotta fight that metal with the square file. It's definitely hard. It'll be down here somewhere.
Now, if you had a double bevel, would that change how you're doing what you're doing?
No,
Okay.
I got better angles on that one now. I had it down where I wanted it.
Oops.
There's a little, this is where I'm touching with the round file. You know, I'm touching in here with the square file.
There it is.
You know, this is where I'm touching with the round file, but right up here is where I'm touching with the square file. And you gotta touch this or your angles aren't right.
Okay.
And this is thinner than a double bevel. If you had a double bevel in there, you'd be down there a lot further yet.
Right.
You know, and then them triangle ones are even worse yet. You know.
All right. You want to switch to the other side?
Got it. Showed me how to file a square file, or spent the time to keep me on track with it. I worked for him in the woods for a year, more than a year, and in that year, you know, off and on we would work on this square filing stuff. And I got pretty good at it for a while, but I don't do it a lot. So when you do it every day is one thing, and you do it, you know, once every couple months or something, that's a whole different story.
Right. Well, I wanted to do this video because you seem to do it so differently than everybody else.
Guy that taught me how to do it, you know, he said, do whatever's the most comfortable for you.
Okay.
We filed in the woods, working every day,
Uh-huh.
so you didn't have a vise to put it in.
Right.
I can do this in a vise, but I didn't have a vise. So it was a stump or a log or something in a tree, and you'd find that spot that you got comfortable in to file, and then you'd file it, you know, whatever was comfortable.
Sure.
And he would put the saw on a log and literally lay on top of the log, put his chest up on the handlebars and stuff. And he would file both right hand and left hand.
No way.
Each tooth, every other tooth, right hand, left hand, all the way around the chain. And I could never.
I guess that was
figure
most
that one out.
comfortable for him.
It worked for him.
Yeah, okay.
I couldn't do it.
Huh.
I tried a few times, but I couldn't. There's no way I could ever figure out how to file left-handed. Getting that corner of the file and right in that corner of the tooth is the goal. And it's harder to see when when you file them into the tooth. I mean, you're looking right at it. You're on this side and you're looking right at it. It's pretty easy to put it in that corner.
Yeah.
But when you're here, you kind of learn what it looks like to get there.
Okay.
It's the angle you're holding the file
So
on.
the main advantage of filing out of the tooth.
Your files last 3 times longer.
Okay. Well, considering how much they cost, that's
Yep.
probably a pretty good thing.
And it's best if you're going to square file, not to file on a chain that's been ground,
Okay.
because generally grinding
Will harden the tooth.
makes the tooth a little harder, and if it's really hard, your file will just go zing and it's junk.
Got it.
It only takes one swipe and your file's no good anymore. And then when you gotta look for your beaks, I can see a beak on the top. I can't see it on the side, but I can see a beak on the top. So I generally will hold the file a little bit higher so I can see the beak on the top, and then change my angle slightly to put the beak on the bottom or get it in the corner. Like that. I might be putting a little too much side angle on it. I would have to twist the file a little bit, but that ain't bad. And I'm getting under the tooth to make it sharp, so
Okay.
getting rid of part of this gullet before you start the file, it's just less you have to file with that.
Sure.
And we always catch that up so it's
Pretty close.
up to the bottom of that, where that square file was, without getting into it. And it makes for better chip flow.
Sure. Alrighty.
Oh, you want, they say no hook angle on the side plate or no more than 5 degrees, and I was probably close to 10 or so. And I'm a little out of practice,
Right. Oh, that's fine.
but these are the files that I use when I do it. And if I was building race chains and whatever, this is the file I would use, but I would probably file it more like that.
Okay.
Now
what's the difference between, I guess, a race chain and a work chain as far as square ground goes?
Angles you're putting on them.
Okay.
You can make it much more aggressive because you're not in any kind of dirt. If you're square filing to do nothing more than make a work chain, don't get too aggressive on your angles because it won't stay sharp.
Mm-hmm.
Same with a round chain. I mean, you can make a round filed tooth cut aggressively, but it won't stay sharp as long. So depending on your conditions, might decipher how you're going to sharpen the chain.
Got it. Okay.
But I can, when I do round filed behind the pole skidder, I always take some of my hook out and I file it more straight across. It doesn't cut as fast, but it cuts
sharp.
better in dirty wood. It's going to stay sharp quite a bit longer. Stuff that's been drug on the ground. I do the same thing with the square file. You just put less angles on it and it will stay sharp a lot longer.
Interesting.
And in all of my experience of square filing and round filing, in my experience, a square filed chain will stay sharp longer than a round filed chain.
But you also say at the same time that a round file chain will cut better when it's dull.
A round tooth chain.
Round tooth.
Yeah,
Okay.
like RM chain
Oh,
will cut
Semi-chisel.
better. Yeah, it'll cut better when dull.
okay.
You know, once this on the square tooth stuff, once that little corner is gone, it doesn't want to feed anymore.
Full chisel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Huh.
Well, either, you know, square ground or round ground, square tooth.
Yeah. It's
Once that corner is gone,
Yeah.
it doesn't want to feed anymore.
Yeah.
You know, so where around or like RM chain,
Mm-hmm.
chipper chain, whatever they want to call it,
Semi-chisel, RMs.
Yeah.
Yeah. All that.
that doesn't have that little point, so it cuts better when it's dull.
Got it.
A lot of guys say it stays sharp longer, but that's not the reality of it. It's just that it cuts better when it's dull.
Okay. Alrighty. Thanks, man.
Yep.